Morning, everybody. I'm going to get started. Just want to check you can all see my screen all okay. And if you just want to pop a little smiley face or something into the chat box, I can see that you can hear me all okay as well. Thank you. Morning, Anthony. And Madison, morning as well. Oh, right, well, let's get started then. So welcome to our webinar today, the 3 essential tools for business success. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cheryl Sharp, the founder of Pink Pig Financials. And we're an accountancy practice that helps you to reach your goals, not just keep the taxman happy. So firstly, I'd like to point out there's no magic bullet for business success. It does take hard work, but at the same time, it is hugely rewarding to see improvements you can make by adopting the 3 essential tools we're going to talk about today. I'm passionate about small business owners getting more from their business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. The principles that I'm going to go through today apply to rural, commercial, bricks and mortar, service, businesses, all of them. So first of all, you're in business for a reason, and you probably dreamed about what it would be like. Fancy cars, flash toys, every expense tax deductible, and with a great accountant, there's no tax to pay, right? So take a moment to think about what you wanted your business to give you when you first started. What did you dream it would be like? Now, what score would you give yourself out of 10 for how well business has delivered? 10 being 100%, your dreams are reality, and you're living them every day. Life couldn't be sweeter. Or 1, if the dream is more of a nightmare, and sometimes you worry your team members are actually making more money than you are. And just write down that score for me, please. So if you score less than 5, then you're doing the right thing, you're here today, and that's what you need to do. If you've scored a 6 or a 7, you're doing all right, you've achieved some bits, but obviously you want more. And if you're up at the 9 or 10s, then maybe you should be hosting this rather than me. But the reason I wanted you to do that is because you'll realise that you're in good company. There's going to be more a lot of people all in the same boat. Social media may paint a picture, but more often than not, people are going to be in the 2 to 3s up to the 6 to 7. So you get in there, but you need to go further. And that's where we see a lot of our clients as well. And that's where we can really help them to then move forward to make it more of a 10. Business can be lonely at times, and it helps to know that other people are experiencing the same challenges as you are. As accountants, we see this, and that's obviously why I've put this seminar on, this webinar even, so you can learn more about how to achieve better success in your business. So think about, if you've got children, think about how much time you spend teaching your children and what you've taught them over the years. It's a huge amount when you think about it, and how much richer their lives are from what you've shared with them. But now think about your business. Who teaches you to run a better business? Your solicitor, your bank manager? Didn't learn it at school really, did we? So who do you think the best person to teach you about running a better business is? Generally, that's us, your accountants. But how often do you set time aside with your accountant to discuss forward-facing issues and how to learn to run a better business? Everyone in business needs support, and that's what my business coach has taught me as well. And I do have a coach, and I speak to her every 2 weeks, and it's really helped me to move forward as well. So I'm sure most of you are experts in the technical aspects of your business, what you set your business up to do, but today is about reflecting on the part you're not so good at and you not expected to be good at. Perhaps that's understanding your numbers, or creating and implementing a simple business plan. Perhaps you need to lead the business and team a bit better. These are all things we can help you with, and things that we can help you to improve. We want your business to serve you and not the other way around. So what am I going to cover today? The biggest failure in business is FTI, failure to implement. And if you've watched the previous webinar, you've probably seen me say this more than once. So write it down, and please do make lots of notes as we go through. Because if you don't write things down, you won't remember them. And if you don't write down your actions, they won't happen. So I'd like to think that you'd come out this session with 3 actions that you can put into place in your business, and that'll be a huge success. So today I'm going to share with you the power of 1%, having the courage to change, what we believe the 3 essential tools for business success are, examples of how to use these tools, and then it's accountability time, the time when the rubber stamp really hits the road, time for you to decide what you're going to do as a result of coming along today and how that's going to help your business. So I'll show you adopting these 3 tools in your business and how they can greatly improve your business and your business value and your profit. So small changes can have an incredible impact on your business. For example, if you increase your sales by 1%, just 1% each day for a year, by the end of the year, you'll be selling 37.8 times more each day. Put it another way, you could double your sales in 70 days by just improving by 1% each day. So what would your business look like if you doubled your sales? What would it look like if you increased your sales by 37 times? For those of you who are farmers, think about what your business would look like if you could lift production by 1% consistently, or if you could reduce costs by 1% consistently. What this formula demonstrates is the long-term benefits of continuous improvement, which is one of our values here at Pink Pig. Of course, it's unlikely that you have absolute linear growth, but the point here is to illustrate that the power of compounding growth. So even if you achieved a weekly increase of just 1%, then your sales will double in just over 16 months. what we're looking to achieve here is continuous and sustained improvement. Small changes, not magic bullets, because there aren't any, I'm afraid. So now let's consider what happens if you don't make these changes. Let's say, for example, your competitors sharpen their game, or you fail to keep track of changes in technology, or you manage your team inefficiently because you're so busy and your sales start to reduce by 1% each day. If your sales are currently around £1,000 a day and your sales drop by 1% every day, then your sales will be just £30 a day by the end of the year, which is quite a scary thought. Again, your sales production is likely to drop in a linear way like that. It's not just going to go down, it's going to be bumpy. But the important point to note is unless you make continuous improvement, your business performance is likely to drop over time. And as Einstein said, compounding is the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. So, I love this quote: change is inevitable, growth is optional. And we all know this, but change isn't easy. So we're going to have a think about some other businesses that haven't adapted to change and what the impact has been on them. So Kodak was the poster child for companies who failed to react to the changing market. In 1976, Kodak claimed a market share of 85%, but they failed to adapt and change, and by 2003, their market share diminished to just 15%. And funnily enough, Kodak actually developed the first digital camera, but worried about the effect of going digital would have on the sale of their camera films. So their failure to accept the change from film to digital actually had a massive impact on their profitability. And to be fair, I can't remember the last time I saw a Kodak camera or anything Kodak related in the shops. Now, most of us carry a camera around in our pockets, instantly uploading them to social media, to share with friends, WhatsApping them to people. And yeah, that's normal day life now, isn't it? But by the way, did you know that Kodak actually released their first smartphone in 2017? So they're very late to that. And again, I've never seen one, so clearly they're not that popular. MySpace was one of the first social networking platforms and was the largest until Facebook overtook it in 2008. But they failed to adapt to change and kept the same structure, while Facebook and Twitter were updating and adding new features all the time. In 2015, MySpace still had over 50 million monthly users. However, compare that to Facebook's 2.38 billion monthly users and Twitter's 321 million monthly users. So again, another example of how failing to adapt has had a change, or failing to adapt has had on MySpace. And one more for you. At the height of its success, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores worldwide. And who didn't love going to Blockbuster on a Friday night to get a video and a bit of popcorn? I remember it well. But this is another story of a business that had the opportunity to change but didn't see the value at the time. In 2000, when Netflix was starting out with a mail DVD rental service, the CEO actually approached Blockbusters to discuss Netflix handling Blockbuster's online business. However, he was, according to Forbes, laughed out of the room. In 2004, Blockbusters finally set up their own mail DVD rental service. When the CEO of Netflix mentioned that Blockbuster had thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Netflix in order to compete with them, Blockbuster sent the CEO a kitchen sink the next day. Netflix now has over 150 million users, and last time I checked, Blockbuster had one remaining store. Although I seem to remember actually a story about that actually closing as well, so maybe there are no more now left. So what those examples of disruption highlight is that change is not easy. When we're riding the wave of success, it can be hard to see the need to change. We've all got inbuilt habits and behaviours that we repeat, and we also have so much going on in our lives that it's hard to start doing something different. So on the screen here, you've got the formula for change, and it will help you increase your ability to change. On the right-hand side, we have R, which stands for resistance. This is what's stopping people from changing their behaviour, and it can come in three forms that we generally see: no time, no money, and don't see the benefit. So you need to build up the left side of the equation so that these variables are greater than the resistance. So what does the D stand for? The D stands for dissatisfaction with the status quo. So you do need to understand the consequences of not changing your behaviour. And this is a really good way to look at it. We always look at how hard it is to change, but we don't, or change what we're doing or improve something, but we don't actually look at what happens if we don't do that and how that will affect us. So this is a really good thing to turn it around. So what happens if you don't learn how to grow your business and improve profitability? Profitability may drop. You may not be able to take that family holiday, or you may have to get rid of some team members. So which now is harder? Doing the change or not doing the change? Then we need to have a look at, so then we have a vision of what your life will look like if you do that change, whatever it is that needs changing in your business. So what do you want your future to look like? More holidays, more money, more time with your family, more days off. Whatever it is, you're having that clear vision of what you want will help you drive you further and help drive that change as well. And then finally, we've got the first steps. What are the first steps you need to take in order to achieve that vision that you're looking to achieve? So remember, the consequences of inaction will heighten your dissatisfaction and cause the business to actually regress. And the fact that you're here today means you're open to change. So that's a real great step in the right direction. The three essential tools I'm going to show you now are the first steps you need to take to start moving your business forward to achieve that vision that you're striving to achieve. As you'll see from this formula, your resistance to change has to be outweighed by the dissatisfaction with the status quo and your vision of a positive future state. So here it is. In my view, the three most essential tools for business success are your annual business plan, your annual forecast, and then ongoing reporting and accountability. We refer to these as the business growth trifecta. You've probably not heard about these before, but you might not know exactly, or sorry, you probably have heard of some of these before, but you might not know exactly what these tools look like. So a business plan, there's quite often is actually two purposes for a business plan. Many people think that they're just for the bank manager or when you're trying to get funding, but actually it essentially takes your dreams for your business and your lifestyle and breaks them down into goals and actions with due dates. And the plan then becomes your guiding document to deliver the business outcomes you dreamed of. Your annual forecast then takes the budget from your business plan and breaks it down into monthly targets with full details of income and expenses. including your tax payments, drawings, asset purchases, loans and repayments and so forth. The forecast shows you the numbers you need to achieve your desired business outcomes. And then the ongoing reporting and accountability is a bit like the relationship you had with teachers at school. So you've got a target, let's say homework, assignments, classwork, whatever you want to think of, and that once achieved gave you the ability to move on to the next level of study. So the accountability was there, as there were consequences if you didn't do the work. And let's face it, how many of you would have completed the homework if there wasn't a teacher holding you to account? No, I wouldn't have done. Not at that age anyway. So it's no different to business. Unless someone holds you to account, change just won't happen. And being your own business owner, it's hard because you don't have that boss. You haven't got that somebody to report to on an ongoing basis to help drive you forward. So now let's have a look at what these tools really look like and how they can help. So here's the components of what we would include in our annual business plan. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of books and articles on the internet. There's many softwares on the internet and everything that will go through the components of a business plan, but this is what we consider best practice for you to use yourself in your business. So your business plan would have a clear purpose, and it would be a 5 to 7 word statement that explains why your business exists for your customers. You need to clearly articulate your vision on what your business will look like in 5 years' time. Don't need to think about the end point. You can just think of 5 years' time to start with. What do you want to achieve? What does your business need to deliver to you? And remember that your business is here to serve you, not the other way around. So state the hours that you want to work, the holidays that you want, and how much money you want to make as well. And then a high level budget in your business plan helps identify your gross revenue targets for the year and is based on what you've recorded in the what we want to achieve section. The budget also forms the basis for essential tool number 2. Now, I'm just going to caveat here that sometimes we do the budget and the forecast the other way around. Oh, sorry, the forecast and the business plan bit the other way around, depending on how much work you've already done on that and where you want to go to. Key performance indicators are the things that will measure your progress to make sure that you're on track towards your goals. For example, sales per day, gross profit, number of days team members are achieving their individual targets. For a restaurant, it could be the number of covers per sit-in, or it could be for hairdressers, the number of haircuts in a day, or something like that. So there's many different KPIs, and you don't just have to sit there and think, what are they? We can help you to choose which are the best ones for you and your business. And we'd say choose a maximum of 5 and make sure that they are something you can actually measure. They're not something really arbitrary that you can't measure. You need to identify your opportunities and your vulnerabilities, and then you can draw your ideas from these for your plan. Your goals should maximize the opportunities and mitigate the vulnerabilities. And then finally, your business plan should have your goals for the year and make sure these goals are measurable and achievable. So you might have heard of SMART goals. And these should cascade then into 90-day goals with clear actions and a person responsible for each action. And then you can review your business plan regularly to ensure your actions are completed by the due dates, and then update your 90-day goals each quarter. So these are the rules we follow when we develop and update our business plan. And we also follow them during our business planning sessions with clients. So firstly, all key decision makers should be involved in the session. So they must also complete some pre-work we send this out to our clients a couple of weeks before the session. So this ensures that everyone has taken time to reflect and to prepare, and everyone gets a chance to have their view heard. And it also allows us to identify any areas of conflict or misalignment between all the decision makers. We recommend using an independent facilitator. If it's just the decision makers that meet to develop their business plan, it's likely there'll be some disagreements. And it's also likely that one or two people will dominate the session, and others won't get an opportunity to have their views heard. So an independent facilitator, like ourselves, can help you to manage these risks to reach agreement. Your business plan should be on one page. This can be double-sided, but there's no point in developing a 30-page business plan that you glance over once, put in the drawer, and it just gathers dust. It needs to be visible at all times to ensure it guides your decision making. And again, I'll just caveat that with sometimes you do need a longer, more in-depth business plan for funding and things, but you can start with the business plan you use regularly and then expand on that to do that if you need funding or for your bank manager or anything like that. Then share your plan with your team and stakeholders. So you may need to cleanse it slightly to remove anything sensitive, but your team should know the plan you have for the business so that they can buy into your vision and align their goals with yours. Report against your monthly plan, so you ensure that your 90-day actions are being completed and that you're on track to achieving your goals. And then review and update your 90-day goals, and action points every quarter to ensure that you're on track to achieving your annual goals. And then finally, do a full review of your business plan each year, because some things such as your vision and your values may not need updating, but they may need tweaking. But it's a really good opportunity to take the time to review every section and update them accordingly. Right, so what will this one-page business plan look like? Here's an example. And it's not, oh, there you go, it's not clicking on, sorry. Here's an example. So all components are clearly identified. We like to keep things simple and easy to understand. So you've got at the top, you've got the purpose and the vision that you want to achieve. And there's also the values section, which isn't showing on here, but we'd have the values as well. And then we've got the high level budget, which we update the year-to-date column each quarter to ensure that we're on track. Next, we have the KPIs we'll be managing. And you can, they're not shown on here either, but we'd have another box with the KPIs. And then we've got the vulnerabilities. I really can't say that word, can I? And opportunities. And then we've identified here as well the most critical challenge. And then on the back page, we'd record goals and actions. So first of all, determine your annual goals, and then break. Sorry, there's a real delay on the slides from when I'm clicking to when it's coming up. There you go. So first determine your annual goals, and then break each goal down into 90-day goals. And then each of these goals will have a step towards achieving your annual goals. And then you can work out the actions you need to take in order to achieve those goals. And then finally, who is responsible for each action and when they'll be done by. And the due date is essential to make sure that someone is actually held accountable, be that yourself or one of your team. And again, when I refer to team in any of these webinars, it doesn't necessarily just mean the team that you employ. This could be goals or action points for people that you outsource to, if you've got VA or a marketing department or something like that you outsource to. So your team is the wider team, really. So we recommend a maximum of 4 goals per year, because that ensures that they are then achievable and you've got time to focus on each goal. So that's the first tool, your annual business plan. Before we move on to the next tool, does anyone have any questions about the business plan? No? No, nothing's come through. We have got time for questions and answers at the end, so if there is anything, just pop it up in either the Q&A box or the chat box and we can answer them as we go along or at the end. So let's move on to the second essential tool, which is the annual forecast. So again, many people think that you only need to do a forecast if the bank asks for it, or funding or something like that, but every business needs to have the forecast. Even if you've got, a positive cash flow, a forecast can help you unlock a lot of cash just by making a few changes. So we developed a high-level budget in the business plan, but the annual forecast will then break this down into monthly targets. So again, it could be that we do the forecast bit first and then populate that into the business plan, especially if we're running the two side by side. And the forecast will then give you some targets to account for seasonality, because we appreciate not every business is consistent. And it'll also allow you to predict and prepare for any large cash outflows like tax payments and things like that. So with the forecast, same as the business plan, really, there are several components that will make up your forecast. So you'll have a forecast for your profit and loss, which is also sometimes called a budget, a cash flow forecast, and then a balance sheet forecast. So what do these look like? So here is a profit and loss budget or forecast, and it measures your business efficiency. So as the name suggests, the report shows whether you're going to make a profit or a loss each month. And if you're a business which is constant, this could look very similar every month. If it's a business with seasonality, for example, trying to think of something, a toy shop will obviously sell way more leading up to Christmas than it potentially will do in the first few months of the year. So that needs to be taken into account. And having it split out month by month will also show the fluctuations in your business and show where you'll be making a bigger profit, and that money needs to be put aside for the months where you're not making as much profit. So if you find that there are some months where you're making a loss, i.e. the low sales months if you're seasonability, then the months where you are making a lot of money will then make sure you have an overall annual profit. The month by month profit and loss forecast allows you to break down the annual numbers into your business plan to give you a greater visibility of not only about the detail, but how they're spread across the year. So what's really important to understand here is that profit and loss and cash flow are not the same. So some of the costs do not appear in profit and loss forecast. For example, tax payments, like your VAT and your payroll, loan repayments, and your own personal drawings as well outside of the salary. So you need to make sure that you're going to make enough profit to cover those additional cash costs. So let's look at cash flow forecast next. So this report shows all the movement of cash in and out of your business on a month-by-month basis. The software that we recommend is Float, and that will show you a nice graph that is easy to read, but also breaks it down into figures. So depending on if you're a numbers person or a visual person, you can still see the representation. And this will document all the cash ins and outs of a business. It will take into the timing of payroll for your staff is at the end of the month, for example, but you don't pay the tax until the 22nd of the following month. It will take into account any asset purchases, like if you've got a new team member, you'll need to buy a new laptop, for example. So all those sort of things will be shown in here. Any loan repayments, which again won't be on your profit and loss. So while the profit and loss shows your business efficiency, the cash flow forecast shows whether you've got enough cash to survive and thrive. Cash is the oxygen for the business, after all. In fact, it can be the most profitable business in the world, but without the actual physical cash going in your bank, you won't be able to survive. So the last forecast to do is your balance sheet. And the balance sheet forecast shows whether your overall value of your business is increasing or decreasing. So it measures your assets and liabilities and your equity, and it shows if you're solvent or insolvent. So again, highly profitable companies can and do go broke. So the balance sheet forecast gives you an early warning of that risk. For example, if you have a huge increase in your sales, but you're slow to collect the money in, so you're selling on credit, you could be in a position where you can't afford to pay your bills as they fall due. And the balance sheet is a great way of seeing that, and you can use different formulas to work out different potential to risk that you've got. So as I said, there's a lot of different software available out there to help you create your forecasts. We use both Fathom and Float for our forecasting, and they're great tools to help you. And we can then plug your profit and loss forecast into Xero, so you can actually then report actual as well on a day-to-day basis. So you should be able to do some of this yourself. You can start with your desired profit and then work backwards to calculate the sales you need to achieve that profit that you're after. You can then compare that to last year's results and see if your desired profit is actually realistic and achievable. So it could be that you need to take a couple of years to grow to be able to get to your ultimate achievable goal of your profit. So if you need to review your figures and make any adjustments, then that's fine to do as well. And of course, as I said before, we can help you to develop your forecast and identify areas where you can improve your cash flow. Right, and then the final essential tool for business success is ongoing reporting and accountability. So you need to monitor your results constantly to ensure that you're on track to achieve your goals. Technology provides you with some real-time data, which is Xero, where you can compare your forecast against your actuals, and then you can make some adjustments if needed. Then you can also track your progress towards your KPIs, and I'll show you some examples of that in a moment. The second part of this tool is accountability. So you're going to have to make some changes if you want to achieve better results, and you will have documented these changes in your business plan. But the risk is that because life is so busy, you just don't get around to implementing the changes. But some accountability helps you to set aside some time to work on your business and complete the actions you set in your business plan. So it's just a case of deciding who will hold you accountable. The person simply must be somebody independent, and they must have a backbone to give you consequences for failing. So, and they can't be afraid to act or upset you when you need that dose of accountability. So we usually recommend not having your partner, your life partner, or your best friend or somebody being accountable, because 9 times out of 10 they'll just let you off the hook and they'll be like, okay, don't worry, we can try again next month. What you actually need is somebody that will go, right, well, why haven't you achieved what you set aside to do? Why is it? How can we change it? What can you do to change it? And really dig into it rather than just let you off. They need to care about you achieving the goals you've set. And that's not saying that your partner or your friend or whatever don't care about it. It's just that they potentially don't want to upset you or put too much pressure on you, which is a big thing as well. So we call having somebody independent and having a coach with a backbone and a heart. So your accountability coach will ensure that you dedicate the time to look at your numbers, as well as to check in that you've taken the actions that you need to. Here's an example of a report from Xero, which is your actual profit and loss compared to the forecast I referred to before. So you'll be able to track whether you're ahead or behind on your target, both month to date and year to date. And then you can drill down and discuss what actions can be taken to get you on track. As you can see here, you can easily see by the red and the green what's on target and what's off target. And it will drill down and tell you more. And then with Xero, wherever it's blue and hyperlinked, which this won't be because it's PDF image, but actually on Xero, wherever it's blue and hyperlinked, you can drill down into it and look at it a lot further as well. So this is a great tool that we'd recommend you look at least once a month. I'm pretty sad and look at mine probably every week, towards the end of the month, every day. But that's so that I can spot things in advance and make sure we're moving forward. And just wait for the slide to change. There you go. So KPI results are also a really good and easy way of seeing your progress as well. So here's a snapshot of your results for your key KPIs and whether or not they're on target, plus if you're up or down on last month. And this is taken from the report pack that we do for our clients, which we prepare in Fathom. And I feel this is a really good, easy report to see where you're up or down, what needs to move forward. So we'd run this on a monthly basis. Some people start with quarterly reporting. However, I feel the real magic is in monthly. Sometimes a quarter is too long to see a result. If something's going wrong, you need to see it a lot quicker. So monthly would be more beneficial to you. And then here's another way of seeing those KPIs as well, which I think is really great, because some people are more visual rather than number orientated. So this clearly sees what is and isn't on target. They can be grouped by the type of KPI or the level of importance to your business, depending on how you want to see it. And as I said, the more often you review your results, the easier it'll be to make those small adjustments and stay on track to achieve your goals. And again, this is taken from our reporting software Fathom, which gives you this really lovely view of your numbers. And what we love about Fathom, I'm just going to point it out, is that Xero is great for reports and you've got many on there which are really good to look at. However, they're all completely number orientated, whereas the software we use shows you in different ways. So if you're more of a visual person, numbers will probably just completely freak you out, whereas we can do like charts and graphs and things like this as well. So don't stress. If you are not a numbers person, there are other ways of getting the reports to you in a format that you can view and understand and take action from. So I just want to round up with a bit of a summary of what we've covered today. So remember the power of 1%. Small incremental changes can have a massive impact on your business over time. We saw what happened to Kodak, MySpace and Blockbusters, just a few companies that failed to adapt. We can't be complacent in business, and change is essential for survival, which unfortunately some businesses have seen more than others over the last 18 months or so. And of course, we've gone through the 3 essential tools, which are the annual business plan, annual forecasts, and ongoing reporting and accountability. And it's only just changed the slide. Sorry, I don't know why it's going so slow. Some are slow and some are not. But please take positive action now to implement these tools in your business to ensure its success. As I've said, as we've gone through, we can help you implement these tools in your business. So we've got a business planning service that consists of a 4-hour session, which we can break into 2-hour sessions, where we can develop a business plan like the one you saw earlier. We've got a budgeting service where we'd sit down usually for about an hour and a half initially to work out all your goals and some achievable targets. We'd put together your budget, your forecast, and then we'd look to have a further meeting with you to go through it, the finalised version, before plugging it into Xero so you can track your progress. We can prepare cash flow forecasting for you, or if you really want to improve your cash flow in your business, we offer cash flow management coaching, which consists of 4 accountability coaching sessions held quarterly. And with cash flow forecasting, we don't generally just do a one-off forecast. It's ongoing monthly, so it updates every month depending on the results of your business during the month. So you've always got an up-to-date cash flow forecast. Then we've got our management reporting or management accounts, which we've shown you a few snapshots of today, and I will send out with recording some example reports, and those reports will have everything in, so you can get some examples of loads of different types of reports within that pack. But what we usually do is have a meeting for an hour or so and really drill down, work out your key KPIs, and then we'll put together a reporting pack that focuses on those KPIs, so you don't have too much information to overload you. But I just want to point out the templates that will come out to you are examples that cover everything, so you can pick and choose which ones you do and don't want. And then for those of you who need that accountability to make changes and achieve their goals, we offer quarterly coaching sessions. These are starting from September, and we're offering sessions where we can review and update your 90-day goals and actions and hold you accountable to achieve them. And then finally, we always offer a complimentary initial meeting for all potential clients to see if we're a good fit and how we can best support you. So one of the biggest problems in business is failure to implement, as I said earlier. So if you don't write down your actions you need to take, you just won't do them. What 3 actions will you take after attending this webinar today that will add value to your business? What projects do you need to begin to start to solving problems you've been experiencing? Remember, doing nothing is not an option. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. So it's time to do something different and move your business forward. Just double check. Has anybody got any questions before I wrap up? No, nothing's coming through, so I'm hoping that means I've answered your questions as we've gone along. If you do have any questions though, please do not hesitate to drop us an email, and if you're watching the recording of this, also please do not hesitate to drop us an email and ask any questions you do have. So I just want to finish by saying thank you for making the time to attend this webinar. I appreciate that your time is very valuable. There will be a brief exit survey as you leave, hopefully, if I've set it up right, as I've changed all the settings, so I'm hoping to take you there. But if you wouldn't mind just completing that for us so that we can continuously improve and get your feedback, on what other webinar topics you'd like to hear from us. So I hope you've got plenty of ideas from today's webinar and some clear next steps for you and your business. Thank you again for attending and or watching the recording, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.